Saturday night, or as us parents like to call it, just another day living the dream. Before we get started on tonight's premiere episode, I believe that we might have one of our castmates on the line. Heidi, are you there?
Hello, my friends. I'm so excited to be a part of this show. It is going to be absolutely amazing. But I got to tell you, I just got married on Thursday. I'm on my honeymoon. So I've got places to go here. I'm not sure I can join you for today, but I really look forward to seeing you all next week. 8 o'clock Eastern
Standard Time. So basically what you're saying, Heidi, is that you have better things to do than us right now.
I do. Her name's Carrie, and she's amazing. So I'm heading that way. Thank you for everything.
Love it. I hope you guys are having the best time of your life, making so many memories and joy.
Thank you. Okay, bye now.
Bye, Heidi.
Bye, Heidi.
Without further ado, let's get started with the show. And basically, we want to tell you a little bit about what's going to be happening on the show. We're going to be having our first ever edition of Hot Flashes. And this is basically our version of Hot Topics. It's the things that you're talking about around the water coolers, at your kitchen table at night, and the topics that are in the air, celebrity and or parenting stories that everybody is currently talking about. We're going to move on from there, and we're going to have kind of a serious discussion about what's going on in the United States right now, everything that's going on with Trump. And in specific, is it better, especially at this point in time, to be gay in America, or is it better to be gay in Canada? What are the differences? Are there any differences? And when are you moving? We're going to finish off the show tonight with a little bit of a funner topic. Might be fun to some of you, might not be so fun to others. But we're going to talk some body grooming. And we're going to couple that with, where does the sex go? No, really. Where does it go? As always, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check out our brand new webpage at www.thequalkshow.world. And before we moved on, I really quickly wanted to touch a little bit on how we came up with the show, The Qualk Show. Basically, I saw a need for a show that was dedicated to informing, including, and normalizing the queer family, because that number is growing daily as all of us are getting older and having kids. And basically, the reason that I chose the term The Qualk Show is a play on words. It's a queer talk show. And I know that some of you really don't appreciate or associate with the word queer. I myself, walking down the street, probably wouldn't call myself queer. I'd probably refer to myself as a lesbian or a gay woman, or just Carol, which is kind of where we're heading with this show.
Carol, I'd call you queer. If I saw you, I'd call you queer.
I think it's
the hair. Make no mistake about it.
It might be the hair.
So you're saying I can't get away with it? Damn,
Nope.
I really thought that I was going to. And so for me, it's the broadest spectrum word that I could use to include everybody in the LGBTQPA community, from bisexual to transsexual and everybody in between. And feel free to comment on our live chat today if you think there's a better word, if you hate this word, if you like this word, if you get where we were going with the Qualk Show. And without any further ado, let's introduce our panel to everybody today. We're going to start with Heidi Starr, who you just met. Heidi is our psychological analyst as well as our stats girl, and she is a mother to a 2-year-old as well as a grown stepson. We move on to Stephanie Bartash, producer extraordinaire and mom to a 3-year-old and an infant. Next we have Haley Parker, director of marketing and a surrogate mother as well as mom to a 6-year-old. Moving on, we have Summer Esquire.
Hello, guys.
Summer is our production assistant, organizer of all things. Summer's so organized because she has to be, because she has a 16-year-old as well as a 3-year-old, so she has to have everything in a row. And we move on with Sin Brunel.
Hey.
Sin is our Shit That Sucks Girl, which is a segment that we're going to be airing once a month that you're sure to want to tune in for. And Sin is also the mom to 2 teenagers, so you know that she's pretty busy right now. And finally, your host, Carol Rosher, proud mom to a brand new 3.5-year-old baby girl. Right now, we're going to come at you hard with the first edition of Hot Flashes. Woo! Snooki Palooza recently stated that if it hadn't been for her children, she probably would have ended up in rehab. Do you guys think that having kids actually changes you? Sin, what do you think?
I think that having kids changed my priorities a lot. I don't know about you guys, but when I took my daughter home from the hospital, my first child, I was thinking they're just going to let me take this person with me and I'm in charge of them now. And I think that your priorities, if you're a good parent, an attentive parent, I think your priorities instantly change. What's important changes immediately. Sleep becomes much more valuable and things like that. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I felt like my priorities instantly changed.
Sleep is definitely the number one priority. Day, night, nothing else matters except for getting a little bit of sleep here and there. I agree, Sin. Go on. Go on, Sin. What were you saying?
Oh, no, see, I don't know how the rest of you feel, but I feel the priorities definitely changed, like a whole lot. I think that what was important to me was different. Going out and having fun was less important than making sure that my daughter was comfortable and healthy and happy. From day one. And I think that you forget that, life becomes less about you for a while. You get that back. I have teenagers, and now they have their own lives going on, and I can have me back a little more.
And you have your life back tenfold because they actually want absolutely nothing to do with you, right?
Right, pretty much. My son's still very much a mama boy, and he really, it's great. But yeah, I think that they need you less. It's not life or death if you're gone for an hour kind of thing. And
sure.
you get to have a little more of yourself back and rediscover yourself or rediscover your spouse, and it's a good thing.
I agree. What do you think, Haley?
I think that it all depends on your wiring. I think people who are selfish and people who are in their own, how many crack addicts stop doing crack because they have babies?
Whoa, crack addicts. Whoa, we're already at crack. Rhinos, but Rhinos and Adderall, you just went right to crack. Really? Forget meth, forget everything else. You went right to crack. Wow. What's going on in your life? Whoa.
Do not practice this at home, everybody. Just.
I think it definitely, for me, it did change. My daughter was number one. I love being a mom. She is the best thing that I've ever done. But I do think that there are a lot of people who a child or a prison sentence isn't going to change them. So
that's very true.
That's the comparison. First crack, now we talk about the prison system. That's a separate show, Hallie. That's a separate show.
This is actually
putting the alcohol over your shoulder, Hallie.
In the prison system. So
wow.
Allie's really trying to help our viewers at home to make sure that everything's under control. What do you think, Summer? I don't think you're agreeing with Hallie's assessment here tonight.
I was going to bring up one. Before I had kids, I was listening to Ready to Die by Biggie Smalls when I was driving around. And now I'm listening to Little Einsteins and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I know Doc McStuffins down. So it changes you 100%, right? The way I defecate, I have someone go and join me, showers. Before I used to do it alone. Now there's always someone with me.
I never picked another human being's nose until my daughter.
No, right? And you're like examining mucus. Who examines mucus? I do because.
But you're examining the defecation as well, my friend.
Right? Everything.
Everything's up and up.
Everything. I know everything about her. If there's a spot that changes, I have no idea what's going on with myself. I'll lose all of my teeth next week, but I know everything about her teeth. I know everything about my kids. So it changes you without a doubt, but it's the most rewarding and stressful experience for a very long time. So that's how I feel about it. If you don't change, then you don't have any kids. You got one of those dolls and you're pretending.
Yeah, exactly. With 3 million followers.
Yeah, those dolls. Everybody should Google fake babies on YouTube. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Hang out in the chat and let us know what you think. This lady has way too much free time on her hands.
True story.
Stephanie, what do you think? Have you changed since you had kids?
Yes, I'm adult now. Yay! I say this to my wife all the time. Like, for me, my efficiency has gone up tenfold, but I only have about this much time to do everything. So before, I mean, even yesterday, getting ready for the show, I was just like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. You know, I used to have all this time, and I thought I was super busy, but you're not, because it's literally like standing in a fire range every 5 seconds. You're in the mode, you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden, mommy, this one's crying, this one needs something, the trash is out, the dogs are barking, So every single day, it's literally like, what happened here? And it's always 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. You know, once you think you got it, then you're like, somebody threw up. And whoops.
You're about to get 5 seconds of free time. Mama.
Yeah, I do wonder what I did all day before the kids. Because what did I do?
Like, where did my money go?
You know, going back, I watched a lot of Judge Judy. It was a good time in my life.
One of my friends actually said to me, you know, that she laughs every time that someone without kids tells her how tired they are. Like, she just hysterically laughs.
I seriously think there should be a new rule in life that unless you've actually gone through something, you don't get a vote. You can have an opinion to a degree, but it should come with a disclaimer until you've actually walked in our shoes. Because I was a much better parent before I actually parented. I could have told
I was an awesome parent. I would tell my sisters.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I would tell my sisters how they should parent my nephews, both of them, and and you should do this, and you shouldn't stand for this, and they're spoiled, and all of this stuff, and now they both make fun of me and laugh, and then they bring up everything from their memory bank. Remember when? And I feel like the biggest ass.
It's easy to be a sanctum mommy when you ain't got no babies. It's so much easier.
Exactly.
My sister-in-law just said it this week, and she was probably watching, and I warned her. It won't be a walk in the
happen. It will be you next. Let's move on to how some of us got here, which is Jillian Michaels actually got engaged recently. And it was a big deal. It was all over the news. And one of the big stories was that she actually bought herself a ring to symbolize to her now fiance that she's tied down, that she's telling the rest of the world that, you know, she's hooked up and that she is ready for a commitment with one person. And it kind of led me to think a little bit about when you're in a same-sex relationship, it can get a little confusing. Who buys the ring? Do you buy a ring for each other? Do you each propose to each other? Do you do something just elaborate for each other? Is it the more androgynous person, per se, that would be the one responsible for buying the ring? What do you think, Stephanie? What happened in your family?
Well, I was engaged before, and it's sort of you follow, I think, well, generally, I tend to be a little bit more of a conservative, suburban type of a person, so I sort of just followed the realm, and I felt, hey, let's get married, so I proposed. But at the same time, I think that, you know, there's always a little bit in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I kind of just have the reins here. I mean, you know, when you're in a same-sex situation, you can kind of do whatever you want. There is no really set standard. So, you know, in finding the one and moving forward with that, we just decided it was for us. Like, we decided we were both going to get a ring. We were both going to do it at the same time. We were going to plan something really amazing and just focus on each other, and that's what happened. And, you know, I think when you sit down with your partner and you just kind of decide collectively what's the best interest, it always works out better than a, ooh, surprise, because then you're like, well, you're left with this feeling of, oh, well, you know, do I have to run out and go get you a ring? And there's all this pressure around it. So for us, we chose, you know, rings that we thought that someday our kids would want and care about. And, you know, we did it based on what our tastes were. And so, I mean, actually, true story, I tried to go into the jewelry store and I said to my wife, I think the cubic zirconium would be really nice because it's cheaper and it's sparkly, and she almost killed me.
You bumped your head. You. That's why I have brought up crack, because your ass is smoking crack thinking that.
I know.
You're lucky you even got married with that kind of attitude.
Listen, I don't know how she survives me. It's an everyday thing. I have no idea. But, you know, in the end, it worked out great. We both proposed and life was good.
I love it. I love it. What about you, Sin? Who did the proposing in your relationship?
Well, I was dropping her off at work cooking, and she said to me, hey, you want to get married? I was like, sure. But then we sat down when she got home, and we picked out rings online together, matching rings, and they doubled as wedding bands later on when we got married. And the reason we did that is because we felt like we both wanted to symbolize to the world that we were monogamous and we were off limits. It was kind of a respect to the other person thing. It was kind of a, you know, I'm going to show everybody that I'm with you now, and that they better, that they can't be with me right now. And I think it was kind of cool.
Right now, but try later.
Yeah.
In about a year, this may not work out. So, but right now, I'm taking.
You were saying something interesting the other day, Sin, about how the actual engagement ring originated. Did you want to share that with our viewers?
Well, I mean, right. If you think about it, in a typical male-female heterosexual relationship, the man doesn't wear a ring, right? The woman does when they're engaged, but the man doesn't until they seal the deal. I mean, that ring, it's pretty, it's got the diamond on it, but it really is kind of a symbol of ownership, right? It's a she's taken, don't touch her, she's mine, but he doesn't wear a thing until the wedding day.
There she is, folks. There's the feminist in the panel.
I have no issue with men. Men are great. Men are wonderful. I don't want to sleep with them, but they're good. But I think that the whole, my wife wears a pretty ring that I provided for, my girlfriend wears a pretty ring I provided for her, so now I'm engaged to her, but I don't wear anything, and I don't have any symbol of being attached to her when I'm not with her.
It's an interesting take on things. It definitely made me think when you brought that point up. What about you, Summer?
Well, before I get to it, I want to know what the viewers have done. Yeah. How did you decide in your relationships? Does it not even matter to you? So
right here, you can chat with us live.
Right here on the Qualk Show, let us know. We want to hear your stories as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And you're welcome. In our life, we were already shacking up. I mean, Kendall and I have been living together for years, so all this like engagement, claiming of love, everybody already knew that. They were like, oh, y'all are always together. Yeah. One day I was living in sin. Oh, I was like knee deep in it. I was rolling around in it.
You were almost deep in it, Summer.
I was deep, elbows up to my nose. I was always living in sin with her. So that's all good. I actually just did it. She was cooking one day, and I got some foil and just made some little makeshift ring and said, I'm tired of this. Oh. Let's go to New York and let's get married. So there were no...
Stephanie, there's someone cheaper than you!
But I made up for it. I made up for it with our wedding ring. So that's really what was important to us. We both designed our wedding rings. We went to a jeweler in the Diamond District in New York. So we did it big. We didn't even go to a jewelry store. So all of you guys who got that typical ring at Zales or wherever the hell y'all go.
Yeah, you shut your mouth. I love my Zales ring. Shut your mouth.
Show me your ring.
Shut your mouth. Shut your trap. Don't get mad. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the player. But yeah, so we didn't do engagement rings. We just both have a wedding ring, and they're different. She designed what she wanted, and I designed what I wanted.
I love that idea as well. Haley, you were just showing us your ring. What's your story?
My story is, well, this is my second time around the block with the whole engagement married thing.
So get it right. You better get it right.
Yeah, I really want to do this.
You will.
So we had,
no pressure, but this might be your last chance. But just go ahead.
So we actually were talking about getting engaged while we were still dating, and it was kind of weird to plan your engagement when you're just dating. I mean, it's what we knew we wanted. She called me one day and was like, so if I were to get you a ring, what size would I be? I was like, wow, you're cute.
Dude, Kate, you just messed up. You need to be sneaky and find that shit out on your own.
I love her face, but she's not the most stealthy and can't lie for shit, so I love it. So knowing that this was coming up, knowing that that's something that she wanted to, I actually had a plan, and I proposed to her on Christmas with some sneakers because she loves sneakers. So I had some custom Nikes made that said "Marry Me," and
now she works at Nike. Very nice.
If you build it, it will come. That was just
exactly.
You put that out to the universe.
And so if you actually look on our the qualkshow.world, you will see that she's kind of an androgynous person. She's not really the one that you would think would want the princess ring.
What? An androgynous lesbian? You must see this at
They don't exist, do they?
The Qualkshow.world.
You want to see them on the
go to Hallie's profile. You'll see my fiance is. She wanted the princess proposal, and she got it. And
I love
if
it.
you look at her, you wouldn't think she wants princess proposal. She had to turn around and
you know
propose
what?
to
That's
me.
just another show that we're going to do in the future regarding, what does a lesbian look like? What does a butch look like? You always hear this phrase, butch on the streets, femme in the house, or whatever the case may be.
Sheets,
So
femme in the sheets.
Exactly. I was being nice just in case there was any kids still up. But yeah, you took it right
Go
to
to
the sheets.
bed.
I should have.
Cut it off.
I should have known that.
It's bedtime. But yeah, so we had an awesome engagement. We both proposed. We both have rings, and we're happy.
Awesome.
Yay!
That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of being happy, Katie Holmes, you recently said, talking about her daughter Suri, that she was so happy that they were back in New York City, stating that there is just so many things to do there. And it kind of got me thinking, what about the age-old question, is it better to raise your kids or families in the city or in the country? What do you think, Summer?
Well, first of all, Katie Holmes is glad to be away from all that Scientology in California. That's what she's glad about. So she can hide in New York City. That's what she's
Exactly.
With all of those people, I'm hiding out too. And don't come after me, any of you Scientologists.
Exactly. Or the mothership or anything like that. Go on.
Don't do that truth thing. I don't need it. For me, we live in the suburbs, but at the end of the day, it's where is the parent going to be engaged? If you are going to be on a tablet or running the streets or shooting a deer and not paying attention to your kids, I don't care where you're at. Turkey, Istanbul, the country, the city, pay attention to me. That's what matters. So I don't really care. I do appreciate the culture of a city and miss that. We live in the suburbs, so we don't get that cultural feel like someone in, like, say, New York or LA or a bigger city, but it's where you're going to be engaged. That's the bottom line for me.
Yeah, that sounds really true to point. Haley, what do you think?
Living in Oregon, it's mostly country. We have a few bigger cities, but I wouldn't say that I've been to big cities, and they are not in comparison to LA at all.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of living in the country. I love the idea of making your kids get their ass up and work in the morning and take care of chickens or feed a pig. I love that idea.
They can work in town though too. They can feed me.
But I also personally don't like to live any.
Take care of a pig.
Take care of pigs.
It's so much fun. They taste really good.
Yeah, I like bacon, but I don't want to take care of no damn pig to get it.
It tastes so much better at home. All my friends raise them.
Well, that's what she said.
Mm-hmm. So I love that concept, but I also personally don't like to be more than 10 minutes away from a Target or a Taco Bell. # priorities. So for me, the country life just doesn't do it. But I definitely agree with Summer. You have to be engaged, and you have to get up and make your kid feed the cat or the dog instead of the pig or the chicken.
Agreed.
You can make it work.
Stephanie, I don't believe you have any pigs or chickens. How are you going to keep your kids entertained in either the city or the country?
I'm going to put them in extracurricular activities.
High five on that.
We're back in polos. We're all gonna hang out at the local ice cream shop, and we're all gonna dance into the sunset like 50 style. For me, no. See, we went to a wedding last Friday, and in Philadelphia, it is the city of brotherly love. I love my city deeply, but we definitely, M. Jones is crazy. So you go down any given street, and you think you're on a nice street, and then you see crap just smeared down the street. So we were going up to a really nice place for a wedding, and then 2 steps from the door, you're like, who cleans that? Like, what are the rules? Because if that was my house, shit would have gotten serious, right? So I feel like the city is part of my 20s. I did that whole exciting thing. It was adventurous, but I saw one too many roaches. I am in the suburbs for life. I live in, really kind of a rural place, but you don't feel so rural.
Yeah.
My wife could not live without a Target, so there's no shot that I'm ever going into the city. I don't even like the
Shout out
to
to
park there, but Target.
Want to sponsor the show in any way, you can contact us.
Yeah. Sure, they all
Sin, what's your take on this?
Well, we've done both. We've done city and country. We've moved a couple times. But I think the biggest thing in the U.S. especially is that the taxes in certain areas are tied to the school systems. I think where you live with kids is important if you want to have them in public education and not private or homeschooled. If you want your kids to have a public education, you really need to live in a community that invests in that, whether it be city or country. And that's important. I've been really, really lucky that and privileged that my kids have had really good schooling for most of their childhood. In the beginning, they didn't. We were in a city that didn't fund their school very well, and we moved to a rural community that did. And it was a world of difference for my kids. They both have special needs, and they really needed that really good school department with arts and music and things that you don't get in some areas because there isn't the money to do it.
So realistically, it kind of comes down to money, because you can find activities and experiences for your kids if you're looking in either the city or the country. It's really about the parenting, I guess, is what it comes down to. That kind of concludes our first edition of Hot Flashes here tonight, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please chat online. Go to our Facebook page, go to our webpage, and tell us if there's any celebrity stories, parenting stories, queer parenting stories that are in the news in your area that maybe we don't hear about where we are, because we are always looking for things to quack about. So we're going to move on a little bit and have a serious discussion regarding what's going on with Trump in the United States. What's going on with the Sorry, I meant Trump. No, Trump. And you know, it's kind of scary for those of us in Canada that are watching what's going on up there. It made me think, what are some of the differences between being gay in Canada versus being gay in the United States? For example, everything that happened last year with gay marriage being passed throughout the United States and legalized throughout the United States, we were super happy for you. I mean, everybody changed their Facebook page to the rainbow. Your friends, your straight family, your straight friends, all the people at work, everybody joined in and changed their Facebook to the rainbow. And we were like, this is amazing. But some of us up in Canada were like, we've had gay marriage since 2005, nationally.
Ooh.
Nationally.
Wow.
And we thought that you guys were progressive up there. So what's going on with Trump, and when are you moving to Canada? Haley, you're close.
Oh, so in the process of trying to educate myself, for the show, I was watching some Trump interviews. And it made me actually angry, sitting at work, listening to him debate with Anderson Cooper. And my favorite part of his debate was he said, well, he started it, talking about sharing pictures of his wife compared to Ted Cruz's wife. Well, he started it.
It would have been third grade now.
Yeah. So Anderson Cooper said, with all due respect, that's the answer of a child. And he's like, well,
I love Anderson Cooper for saying that.
Yeah. So, Donald Trump makes me angry. The people that support him scare me. Yeah, and I don't know if I would necessarily move to Canada. I think I'd probably move to Mexico.
Why not? Is it something about us down here that you're scared of?
No, Trump said he's going to build a huge wall between us and Mexico, so there will be a physical barrier between me and that man, and the beer's way cheaper and colder in Mexico.
It's true.
You're Dos Equis.
Never mind, the
Hashtag
virus
Dos
gonna
Equis.
take your life.
Exactly. Anybody who knows me knows I love Corona, so
exactly.
I'll be back.
Note to any of Haley's fans out there, she is a Corona fan.
Oh yes.
And a hard liquor fan. Compliments on the left shoulder.
She's an alcohol fan, and we're going to get into those kind of supports on a later show. But I agree with Haley. This is a man who talks about the size of his penis at a national debate. Right. He promotes violence, and he's so juvenile, like Anderson Cooper pointed out, that he has exchanges, for example, with Mark Rubio, where he says over who interrupts more, basically stating that he interrupts him more than Trump interrupts him. I mean, is this really who America wants leading their country? Summer, weigh in on this.
Uh-oh.
Let me tell you, Trump doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me are all of those hoodlums, all of those animals, and all of those thugs at his sessions where he has a whole bunch of people. If they didn't support him, this would be a non-event. What also scares me is how the media, including CNN, spends time keeping him relevant. If they didn't, this would be a non-issue. So it's not Trump that scares me. It's not the Republican National Convention that scares me. It's the people who support him and who are violent that scare me. Because like I said, they're thugs. And that word would never be used with them, but they use it for others. Let's think about if Obama was running and would incite such things and all of the nasty things people would say for people of color. So
100%.
that scares me. Trump can go do whatever he wants. And what I'm wondering is, what is Omarosa doing right now? I don't see you around him because you know that is some bullshit. That's the deal.
No, seriously. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Mitt Romney mentioned binders full of women, and suddenly he wasn't a viable candidate anymore. You know, Howard Dean yelled too loud, and he wasn't a viable candidate. But Trump can talk about his dick, and everybody's like, oh, cool, let's vote for him. Wake up.
So do you think that these are actually politically minded people that are going to his rallies and supporting him? Are these just, like you said, hoodlums looking for a chance to hit some black person, gay person?
Welfare hand check. When I'm at work and I'm putting in 29 hours a day, and I see you at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that changes on the horizon. I'm like, you're right, because I'm gonna get you. Like, double hours so you can sit home, and I'm gonna be like, welfare hand check, because how many people have the allotment to do that? You know, it's so it blows my mind, because let's talk about the fact that he's a reality show host. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Yes. By the way, I'm from New Jersey, so I remember when he was like, "Whoop, bankruptcy, I'm out. See you later." And so many people.
Look at what happened to Atlantic City. Look at what happened to Atlantic City and that casino that he had there. People don't pay attention.
Atlantic City. You know, every 5 seconds on our news stations, you hear somebody getting kidnapped, somebody overdoses, somebody's prostituting. It is such a crapshoot down there. You get to the hotels and you feel all safe and secure, and the second you get on the boardwalk, you're like, someone's going to, rape me. Like, it's really scary down there. And it's all turned over because people like him have put thousands and millions and trillions and billions and billions of dollars into something that was more self-indulgent than it ever was prosperous. Build up too fast, rip it down. And it's just, if you look at Atlantic City, it's indicative of what's going to happen to the country if that man ever got in. And I refuse to talk about him on my public Facebook months ago. And so I call it now, this is not a political post if I ever go there, and I compliment something like a tie, or like I'll talk about hairstyle. Because I want to, sometimes it gets to you, as a citizen like us, because I had to marry my wife 4 times, right? I'm overcommitted. So I worked so hard for that. And then just to have somebody be like, well, I think I'd overturn gay marriage, just because it's cool and hip to say that in front of your cool little Republican buddies. But you were a Democrat, bro, for 30 years. You had no income at your wedding. Are you kidding me? You can't. I would never sell out my friends like that. Now, the first thing that would happen is, and by the way, Iggy Azalea's boyfriend, right? Totally got the other dude sold out, right? Because he was a snitch. Trump is a snitch. He tells everybody's business. He goes, whoop, not as me. He's not friends. He's not doing anything. What? I don't understand. You wouldn't pick him as a friend. Why would you pick him as a candidate?
So I think there's a whole lot of undereducated, because of our education system, angry white people out there, right? And they want the world to be something that it never really was, right? They have this image of what life was like in the 50s and how everybody was happy, and they want this ideal back that doesn't exist, and they're afraid.
Do you want to comment on how life was
like? But let's correct that. As angry poor white people who never had a chance in hell to begin with.
That's right.
So worrying about queer people, we do have to worry about where the direction's going, because it's not even just about gay marriage and lesbians. We're talking about queers through the spectrum, intersex, trans, age, asexual.
What's in North Carolina right now, right, Sin? I mean,
right.
You can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, the bathrooms in North Carolina, right? Yeah. I mean, trans people have been going to the bathroom with you, viewers, for as long as you've been alive. They go in, they pee, they leave, and you usually don't notice them because you're busy going in there peeing and leaving too.
Yeah, it's not social central.
No, who's going to check to see what's in people's pants and whether they've had surgery and whose birth certificate? It's a silly thing. And now the fear that people have is silly, because they're afraid of trans women. Trans women are people who were born with male genitalia and now they identify as female. And the fear that a man's going to dress up in a dress and go in the bathroom with you and have a penis is so scary. But now, see, this law requires now for trans men to use the women's room. And those are women, well, they were born with a vagina, and now they identify as a man and may look like a man and have a big beard now. And now they have to go in the ladies' room. So now you've gotten.
I think that might scare your little children a little bit more.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now instead of men in dresses, you'll just have men in there. Fantastic. Yeah. Good job. You accomplished your goal.
You know what I want to know? Because this is an international show.
Yeah.
When folks internationally see this and see what's going on in America, where everybody holds us up to this supposed pedestal, as queer folks across the globe, how do you feel about it? Is it worse where you're at based on what you're seeing? Is it the same? Is it better? Are we just bitching and convention for nothing? We want to know. Well, maybe you don't know what convention is. If you're complaining about this,
right,
let us know. Put it in the comment box.
And do you really care who's in the bathroom peeing next to you? Does it really matter? Just go in, take a pee, and leave. Does it matter?
Do you think that North Carolina's stance on all this and passing this has anything to do with the uproar that Trump has created? Like, did it give them a platform to push that law through?
There's been backlash since the beginning. I mean, since the very beginning, when the Supreme Court realized that it was a violation of human rights from the Constitution to tell a certain class of people they can't get married, but everybody else can. And so when the Supreme Court said, "Hey guys, this is against our Constitution. It's un-American to not let them marry," a bunch of people said, "But wait, I have a special religious book that tells me that you can't do that." Yeah. And they forget that we have this separation of church and state, which tells us your religion can't make laws for me. You can follow it. Follow your religion. I love you. Follow your religion if you need to. Don't make me follow it. If I'm on a diet, you can still eat donuts, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Just not around me, okay? Because that's just hurtful.
Well, you can eat donuts around me. That's fine. It doesn't hurt me if you eat donuts.
It hurts me if someone eats donuts around me. I saw a post the other day.
You want donuts, right?
Yeah, exactly. I saw a post the other day, and it was an Instagram post from a young lady in Libya by the name of Hend Amri. And she stated that if you're American and you're confusedly watching the darkest forces of your nation rally behind a demagogue, maybe you can understand the Middle East now. And I know that that is a whole can of worms that we don't have time to open up to today, but I was really kind of moved by that comment, and it really made me think. What do you think, Haley?
Like I said, it is scary. The supporters and the blind. What are those animals that jump off cliffs?
Lemmings.
Lemmings. Thank you. The blind lemmings that are following him because he's an amazing businessman.
No, he's not.
He's an amazing person. He's come from nothing.
No.
Come on, people, let's do some research. And it absolutely is scary to know that that is happening. Definitely, in my part of the world, we're a little bit more sheltered from the big happenings of the big old cities because we're in the little ones. But it is frightening.
What about you, Summer? Do you have
weed? That's why you guys are just like baking and hanging out and like crocheting plaid shirts and
with their edibles. With their weed infused olive oil.
I saw Portlandia. I'm on to you.
Smoke our plants. We just chill.
Smoke our plants. Sounds like BC, Canada, where I'm from as well.
Exactly.
So have you planned for anything? Like, do you think your family could be imminently affected by anything that's going on right now?
I've had some serious discussions about being a refugee. I mean, if Canada will accept us, and I hate cold weather.
Accept everyone, why not?
Well, I've had this discussion, and seriously, I went and closed my boss's door and said, look, we need to have a serious discussion because I love working at my company. And I want to continue to do so, but I need to be able to do it in Canada, and we have a presence in Canada, so I said we need to have a serious discussion because I have plans A, B, C, D, and E, and I believe everyone has a right to bear arms. I don't personally, and I don't want to be here when the shit is popping off and hitting the fan. I don't want to be in the crossfire of whatever's going to go on, whether it's a class war, a race war, a political party war, whatever, because things are crumbling in the United States, and so I have to protect my family because I am the lion. I'll show y'all the tattoo one day. I'm the one who protects us. So that is going to happen.
I agree. I agree, and you know, for those of us in Canada watching what's going on, it's just crazy to me that this is actually happening, and it's not just another Apprentice TV show, reality show. That this shit is really real. What's going on? It's amazing to me.
I have faith in the American people that he's not going to get elected, but those followers still exist. Those people, with those views who think this is a good thing, are still there, and they're dangerous, and they're dangerous as long as they don't open their eyes and realize what's going on. And I have faith in you. If you're a Trump supporter, read a little, do some research, read some news that's not Fox News.
Travel outside of your home.
We know
they can watch Fox. They can watch Fox because Fox is against Trump. So they can. I even support you watching Fox. Just become a little educated.
Right? Talk to us. We'll set you straight and give you a little insight that might help you become a normal contributing member of society. You know, I think that we could actually literally talk about this all day. This is such a hot topic for obvious reasons. I mean, we're talking about people's lives, people's marriages, people's livelihoods, their safety, their children, their families. This is could not be a bigger issue to a large majority of America, but especially anybody in the queer community, with the way that this man has ranted and raved about his belief system. And, you know, truly this could be talked about all for the entire hour, next week's hour, and the week's hour after that, and we very well could be. But right now I want to move on to something a little bit more fun. Hopefully. It might not be more fun for some of you, because what we're going to be talking about is body grooming, and we're going to couple that with where does the sex go? Has anybody seen it? Because the sex is no longer here, and I want to know, is that because we're not shaving our legs, or are our kids the real clam jams in this situation? Stephanie, what do you think?
I've been with the same woman for 8 years. Okay? And I love her. Okay? But I have 2 children. One is going to be 4 on Monday. The other one is 5 months, who is in and out of Children's Hospital Philadelphia. Shout out to them. Thank you. I don't have time. We talked about efficiency too, and like for me, it's not a priority. So we find other ways to, like, you know, show each other we care about each other. When we have that time, we have that time, and we don't make it public. So I'm not going to tell you. But for us, I mean, it's just, you know, I learned at a very young age, you got to work hard while you have your health. And so those priorities shifted for me a long time ago. You know, when I was in not so serious relationships, or even when I was single, that was the, you know, end game. That was the goal. And so now it's sort of like, and, you know, we don't lose interest in each other. So it's, you know, when you're in a marriage, I think that you just kind of, you go at it the way you need to, and you get your stuff done, and you build an empire together, and sort of, you reward yourself when you can. And you do have to carve it out, I gotta say, you know, especially when you're in a firing squad, as mentioned before. But, you know, it's difficult at best, whether you're single or not single. You're either in a marriage trying to figure it out, or you're single as hell and trying to figure it out. So it's just, I think if you focus less on it, it just comes to you. And you're like, oh, that was magical. I was planning on, you know, cutting my toenails today.
Nice surprise. Summer, what do you think? Is anything not happening in your home because there's hairy legs around?
It has nothing to do with hairy legs, hairy lips, even though I shaved for you guys today.
Oh, you're so nice.
I took care of the unibrow, so y'all don't think that y'all are feeling the burn with me.
Love it.
So it has nothing to do with body grooming. Like Stephanie said, it's time. Time is of the essence. And so the thing that I want to make sure of is that I am efficient. So 3 minutes. Let's get it in. Let's get it out. Let's get it done.
The same thing you pray not to have when you're younger, you pray to have.
Hey, 3 minutes. I'm like a teenage boy. I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to get it, and no one's going to be the wiser. I'll just keep moving around. So 4 o'clock in the morning, when she taps me on my shoulder, I know what to do.
Tap means go, push means no.
Yeah, I love it. Sin, what's going on in your house? Is this messing you up, or is it your kids?
Well, I'm not going to tell you exactly what goes on in my house, because I think my wife would kill me. But I'd say that as the kids get older, they know how to respect your privacy a little more. So you know, that's a nice thing. But I think grooming for me has nothing to do with it. I could care less. I want some. I don't care if you showered. You know, it's okay. It's okay. I want some. With my wife.
A baby wipe. Wait. Shaving is one thing. Bathing is something else. So if she's not bathing, let me give you a hint. You better get a baby wipe.
All right. I'll take what I can get. When she gets home from a 15-hour shift, she works really hard. If she wants
a baby wipe, a baby wipe. 15 hours in the kitchen, a baby wipe.
But I am willing to groom for her. Should that make it easier for me to get some? If she says, "Hey, if you shave or if you trim, when I get, then that's going to happen because I'm willing to do what I need to do
to make it happen.
I do what I have to do to make her happy because she works really hard to support her family, and she deserves that.
That means no baby wipes.
There you go, baby wipe.
I'll send you some Huggies wipes.
No, I got them too. We got Pampers. I don't even know because my wife takes care of it. I don't know.
Here's the thing. I'm all about the return. Okay, I'm all about investment and return. So, if I spend a good hour shaving my body from head to foot, thinking that I might actually get some, there's probably about a 2% chance that I'm actually going to get it in after spending all of that time preparing for the big show. So that's not a very good return on my investment as far as I'm concerned. And the second thing is, if there is 3 minutes in an entire 24-hour day that my daughter is asleep and allows her mother and I to get together, the very last thing that I care about is whether she has shaved her legs or any other body part. Right. I want it now, and just like Summer, we got 3 minutes to accomplish this. What's going on in your house, Haley?
Well, because this is my second time around the block, I actually have split custody, exact 50-50, so every other weekend, Tuesday, Wednesday nights, Mama gets some time to herself.
Oh, lucky you.
With your fiance, like that's another show.
So for me, I know I like to shave my legs. It mentally makes me feel better. I feel more sexy. I feel sensual. I feel good if I am shaved and clean and cut and showered and wiped, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But as far as, if she were to come home and be like, "Baby, I shaved my legs," or if I came home and she said, "Baby, I did the dishes," I'd jump on her about the dishes.
Baby, I did the dishes is the biggest pickup line in the world.
Woo! Hashtag mom porn. It gets me every time.
Baby, I folded and put away all that laundry. Yeah.
Oh, that one. So that's the one right there. We got a dishwasher, but that laundry, woo! You get me excited right now.
You guys are getting me in some serious trouble right now.
We may not finish this show tonight if I'm thinking about some things with some folded laundry.
You're next to me right now. I gotta go. It's so funny, and for the viewers at home, what is it in your relationship? What do you do to keep the magic alive? What do you do to stop the children from ruining any hope that you ever have of, having sex with your partner ever again? Comment on our chat line. Go to our webpage. Tell us your stories, and I guess basically. The point is that it has nothing to do with shaving. It has nothing to do with, once you get to a point in your relationship and you have kids and all that stuff, you should be close enough that a little bit of hair does not bother you on a grand scale. The biggest thing is time. Do you agree, Summer?
It is time. We have 24 hours in a day and it's finite, and Kendall and I pack in every hour, either for ourselves to make sure we're whole or for our kids or obligations and responsibilities. So we have now started scheduling. It's not an agenda. I don't get a reminder buzzing from my phone, but we have to schedule that time, because the other thing is, for lesbians, I can't talk about for other queers, but for lesbians who are on a cycle regularly, if we don't line up, that means 2 weeks out the month, it ain't happening. It ain't happening, because we're equal opportunity. We believe in reciprocity, right? So we don't always line up. So we got to make the most of those 2 weeks. So you just split it in half. 26 weeks out the year, you better find 3 minutes to make sure you connect.
There's no more whining and dining. There's no more whispering soft little nothings into
I'll do that. Sometimes I just get it revved up. Sometimes I'll I'll do it like through the week. And she's like, oh, you get me excited. Yeah, but don't worry, not right now, because we only got 3 minutes.
It happens through the week when you're a parent. Foreplay is a week
It's so long. It's so long.
I hear you on the scheduling, though. We a lot of couples do that. You know, we also try to make sure, you know, once a week on the weeks where we're, you know, available, that we try to make sure we make some intimate time for each other. I think it's important. And we did schedule it, too. I think scheduling is what the therapists recommend for the straight couples. I think it can work for us, too.
I just want to point out that my wife is in the chat yelling about the dishes, so I told you.
Of course, yeah. If anybody other than Stephanie's wife would like to comment on anything that we've said tonight, Stephanie, we hope that you'll be back for our next show next week.
I know, right? Sorry, I left the
Can you
dishes
please
in the
come back
sink
and
before I left
play?
for work.
She may be away talking to her divorce lawyer to make sure that she gets half. Eddie, I want half, Eddie.
She may be doing the dishes before she
Yeah.
come out.
Stephanie live from the kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm already left from the closet. I paid the mortgage and I'm stuck in the closet.
Yo, you're in the pantry. I was about to ask you for a slice of cheese because I see that.
I think you came out the closet a long time ago.
I know.
But I'm back in the closet. When you get
I
married,
do
you
love the oxymoron that Stephanie reports live from inside the closet.
The pantry. Hashtag Steph in the pantry.
Hashtag Steph in the pantry. I love it. Oh my God, you guys! I had like so much. What were you gonna say, Haley?
My face hurts so much from laughing.
I know. I feel like I have a little bit of like a permagrin right now. Like I might stay like this, and my wife's gonna call me crazy, or my girlfriend, because I definitely don't normally have a permagrin on my face at all times.
because we love each other.
Exactly.
We're all about to get U-Hauls and just move.
Exactly.
No, I don't love you guys that much. Nope. I'm only moving if I have to be a refugee, not because of y'all. So I just want to make that clear.
Remember that when I disagree with you.
Exactly. I love it. I had so much fun here tonight with everybody, and I think that we gave the viewers maybe a little look-see into what they can expect on the show going forward. You know, we just want to have a lot of fun. We want to reach out to everybody in the LGBTQPA community, and yes, I do practice saying that because you cannot exclude anyone because you're going to hear about it. I think I got everything in there.
Oh, you forgot I. You forgot I. For intersex.
Yeah.
You know what? That's why I go with queer, because I'm not smart enough to remember everything on an ongoing basis.
And you forgot M for Mormons, because sister wives, that's some queer shit.
They're onto something. They're onto something. Okay.
Polyamory is some queer stuff.
That's queer.
It is queer.
It's true. What's queer about it is that, you know, anybody who thinks that being gay is a choice has never been a lesbian living in the same household with another woman that is PMSing at the exact same time as you.
Right?
Anybody who thinks that's a choice.
Diane just said it's a blast, and I'm straight. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Diane. Thanks for commenting. We're sorry.
Or think about somebody who's trans and going through it and all those hormones. I mean, we'll talk about IVF and trying to conceive later, but I mean, God bless you guys, because between the testosterone or the estrogen, whatever, that household is insane. So, I you know, as a lesbian who doesn't have to have that challenge or struggle, we all goes out to you and all those who support you, because that is a journey, and we'll talk about that at another show. But it's easy for us because we're just lesbians.
Yeah, exactly. We're just lesbians.
We really do want to feature your stories, though, on our show. So reach out to us. You know, hit us up on Facebook, tweet us, write us through our email. It's thequalkshow@gmail.com. You know, we want to be able to finally put the trans community on the map and continue to have this conversation. And, you know, I actually overheard a conversation in my office, and it was between two straight people that said, oh, this trans issue is so old. And I was like, it's just getting started. So let's keep talking about it. Let's actually have some face-to-face non-Caitlyn Jenner conversation. Okay?
Let's talk about agender people. I mean, we're going to talk about sexual orientation. We're going to talk about gender identity. We're going to talk about attraction, because that's the queer space. And our conversation doesn't end when we get off of here. The conversation continues on the qualkshow.world, through the chat, and all of our social channels. So anything that we say,
much going on. Check it all out. I mean, there's literally on the website bios on every one of the cast that you see here today. If you want to get to know them a little bit better, if you want to know their story, log on or make sure that you like our Facebook page, because we've always got things going on there as far as. Yes.
Shout out to Sarah for saying we are so amazing on our Facebook page. She said
Thanks, Sarah.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Make sure you tell your friends, Sarah.
Nobody told me that Diane was Sin's mom. That's so awesome.
Thanks, Mommy.
Thank you for making your child.
My mom won't watch because
my mom
this broadcast right now.
That's fantastic. But you know, I think it's good because I think that, you know, straight folks like my mom who really want to learn more about the kind of life and the kind of struggles we have, I don't really talk about this kind of thing with her. And I think it's neat that she's watching, because I think any straight ally or straight person who wants to be an ally who's watching can really learn more about how we really go through the same things that everybody else does, plus a little more with some of the struggles we have, you know?
No, so I agree. And I mean, you know, that's one of the most important aspects of this show, is not only to normalize the queer family, but also to integrate it and to get it to a point where we're no longer a queer family, we're just a family. We're no longer a queer show, we're just a show, because we have something to offer as much to the straight mom out there when we're talking about sleeping patterns and different things to do with our babies and organic foods and you know, vaccines, circumcision. Yeah, I went there. We're going to be talking about all of it on this show. So,
you don't have a wiener, so you shouldn't vote on it.
You don't have a penis, it's not your opinion.
Well, then, yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, we are definitely going to touch on all of these topics. We want to be in your face. We want to have debates. We want to inform, and everybody's opinion is welcome. And we also want to feature you on our show. If you've got a story to tell, write to us. Tell us about it. There's a really good chance that it coincides with something that we've been planning on talking about, and we'd like to have you on the show to talk about it with us.
I want to talk about Chanel's twice a day right here. We manage alone time twice a day. I count myself very lucky. I was like,
twice a day. You greedy gumdrop. Whoa, you lucky son of a gun.
I'm not worthy. I mean, fantastic.
I thought I had.
How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? Put that in the comments.
How old are you?
How old are you, and do you have children?
Because there's no way in hell. Even when I was 16 and like full of myself, I didn't want to. Well, I did go twice a day when I was 16. Yeah. Not now. Not now.
I love it. You guys, I had so much fun talking with everybody today about these topics. I hope that the viewers at home had half as much fun as we did. If you did, you're going to be leaving with some sore cheeks like we are right now. Make sure that you tune in next week, because we're going to talk about staying connected to the community. Now that all of the gay bars are closing and we've achieved our mission of inclusion in some ways into society, are we losing that sense of community with where we came from and with other queer people around us? And we're also going to discuss parenting fails. Even though I am a relatively new mom, I already have a doozy to share with you guys, and I look forward to hearing everybody else's, as well as you at home. Log on to our website, log on to Facebook, tell us your stories. We'd love to shout you out on the show next week. Again, subscribe on YouTube. Haley, tell them how they can get a hold of us.
The best way that you can get a hold of us, subscribe to our YouTube. So if you're watching this, you want to hit that red button that says subscribe.
Subscribe. It's not that hard.
It doesn't cost anything. It's not a subscription that pays.
Grandma, it doesn't cost you. Just hit the subscribe
Grandma,
button.
You're okay. And then the best way right now is to get a hold of us at our Facebook page, The Qualk Show, real hard, or thequalkshow.world. Check us out. You can learn about us. We all have bios. We all have funny little emojis. Summer loves hers the best. So
I hate it. Wait. Yes. No. If there are any like expert avatar creators out there who can hook us up and do an appropriate black avatar for me, because I don't look like that shit, let us know, please.
I love it.
I look like Rosie O'Donnell, okay?
That's
I look like a dude. And I don't really look that noodly in real life.
I like my avatar.
Sin, your mom is on. Your mom is watching, so I'll save my comment for later.
Let's finish the show tonight, ladies, with what we were going to start as a tradition, doing a toast that relates to something that we've talked about on the show that day. Pick up your sippy cups, your beer, your wine, your shameless promotion for something else, Stephanie. And here's to hairy legs and all the other reasons made up that you're not getting laid.
Cheers.
See you next
Cheers.
week. Cheers. See you next
Thanks,
time.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Woo!